welcome. So I'm going to do a vlog for my family, friends, relatives, workers, ex-co-workers, and of course the gamers out there that watch me. Bring you League of Legends. I just thought I'd do a vlog and basically go through my crazy year that I've had in esports, and please bear with me because it might be a long one. It might be a long one, but we'll go through it. As you can see, starting off here, WCG. This was actually 2010. This is from. This was really my beginning in League of Legends. I did the World Cyber Games. I cast alongside Freak. Some of you may not even remember it because the VODs are very hard to find. It was in pretty low quality, but it was a great event nevertheless, and it was the first meeting with the Rioters. At the time, little did I realise how much it may change my life, that game. So first up, it's been an amazing year. You guys are well aware of how it's gone, so let's get things started. So, here we go. First event of the year was January. It was Kiev. Kiev was cold. Kiev was very cold. And as you can see, this was the shirt we wore actually during the casts. It was Team Solo Mid, Moscow 5, big Rocky 4 all over again, the battle. And honestly, it was the beginning of Moscow 5. It's where they all began. What a fantastic event it was. And honestly, I owe a hell of a lot to ESL, to Carmack, to Joe Miller, to Toby, to Sven, for the guys that got me out there to the Intel Extreme Masters. And really, they kind of really started my career in League of Legends. I've been casting, don't get me wrong, I've been casting a lot of time before that, but those guys really helped me out. They got me launched and kind of got my name out there, I guess. You guys probably didn't really know who the heck D-Man was, who Lee Smith is. Before that event, you had no idea. But it was a great event. It was in a small cafe in Ukraine, in Kiev. Superb atmosphere. The Russian team won the... I think they won the StarCraft, did they? Or was it the Counter-Strike? I think the Russian team won the StarCraft. No, it was... his name is on the tip of my tongue. I see him at all the events. He's a Ukrainian guy. Damn it! My StarCraft 2 knowledge is not that great. But nevertheless, it was great because the Counter-Strike team, the Russian team, won that. And of course, Moscow 5 won, so everybody was happening. And my main memory of there is A, Joe Miller slipping over in the snow. That was funny. That was funny, guys. You had to have seen it because there was snow everywhere. It was like when I came to Kiev, when we landed in Kiev, it was like a scene out of Rocky 4. We'd land, you know, when he lands in the snow and there's just nothing there. That was the Kiev airport. We were like, holy moly. Daniel Klein lost his luggage. We had to get a taxi. Only had 80s music on it. Concrete jungle. But really, it was a great event. And you've already seen the Team Solo Mid, their vlogs that they had about the event. They were walking around for hours trying to find a place. It was cold, but it was a great event. Moving on, we had Kings of Europe. So apologies if the sound doesn't quite pick these up. This is going to be an interesting setup, trust me. So, Kings of Europe. This is actually cheating and it's blurred at the moment. The camera's going to take its time to focus. Here we go. It's going to focus. Focus, camera, focus. Think about what you're doing. I'm just a blur at the moment. Come on, camera. Sort yourself out. Wow, it's really not happy, is it? Right. There we go. We have magic. Magic powers in the palm of my hand. It's still struggling, honestly. There we go. Finally, it finds me. Here it is, the camera. This is me made Insta-Lock. This is actually 2 shirts of cheating. This is from Tales of the Lane, but we didn't really have a Kings of Europe shirt. But Kings of Europe was really the big one that launched myself and Jat, actually. Jat I started casting with at WCG 2011. Dignitas, or Scumbag Jat as he was known back at WCG, was knocked out fairly early on, so they got out of the group stage and they had a really tough team. And actually, when you look at the group they had, I think they had World Elite in there and a few others. Well, you know, we'll know what they are like these days. Nevertheless, we needed someone to cast with us, so Jack and Skara came on to help me out, and little did I know that was the beginning of really a great co-caster partnership with myself. But yes, this was Kings of Europe. Myself and Jack did that. 80,000 online viewers. Kind of was what launched League of Legends outside of Riot events, outside of big events. Suddenly there was tournaments left, right and centre asking me to do events, to help them with the stream, because they've just seen it and You know, Kings of Europe, 80,000 viewers. This was not embedded. This was not mentioned by Riot. I think the final got mentioned, but everybody it just clamoured for it. It was a fantastic tournament. Really some of the best games of League of Legends I've cast for a long time. It was Mistral, Moscow 5, CLG, and Cypher, I believe, were the semi-finalists. The semi-finals were awesome. The finals were awesome. If you've not watched the VODs, they are on this YouTube channel, and check them out because they are awesome. Also, it was, like I say, it was the beginning of me and Jat really becoming pretty well known. People liked that tournament. It went down well. But nevertheless, not much followed. January, that was the end of January actually, it was just at the end of it. February didn't really have anything for me. I didn't do anything in February. I think it started off slow, but remember I was still working at City Electrical Factors by then. So these were all merely holidays I was taking from work, and my very understanding brother of a boss. Little to the credit of Reddit, you guys come up with all sorts of story. I didn't own my own IT company. I was purely a web developer at a huge electrical wholesaler, private limited electrical wholesaler, and thankfully my brother let me go to these events as holiday, pretty much last minute warning, as most events come along with 2 weeks notice. But moving on, we moved on to Intel Extreme Masters CeBIT. So, here it is. CeBIT, what an event that was. It really doesn't like me sitting down every time, does it? Intel Extreme Masters CeBIT, well, you guys already saw it. That was kind of like the first major, huge tournament. We'd had Season 1. It was big. The Intel Extreme Masters CeBIT, the grand finals, the world finals that Moscow 5 went on to win pretty much strongly, was amazing. There were long days working, don't get me wrong. I was there for a good 12, 14 hours a day each time. We used to have to get up about 6 in the morning, take an hour or so coach to or bus ride, because we had to stay outside, because CeBIT is a huge trade show. It's not just gaming. Gaming is a tiny part of it. It's a massive trade show. Mercedes-Benz trucking people, they literally have the train coming from their main factory to the event, bringing all their staff. So you can see, you know, when huge global companies like that are involved, it's a big trade show. And honestly, it was just fantastic to see the gaming hall completely filled, actually to the point where they had to close the doors and nobody else could get in. There was people fainting in there because they didn't want to leave the hall to go back in, because they wouldn't go back in, so they didn't have food. It was a crazy situation, but an absolutely awesome esports event. We had Counter-Strike, StarCraft, and League of Legends. The grand finals on the Sunday were just epic, and they really were special and completely chocky. You guys supporting the game. Germany gets it. Germany gets esport. It was great. But again, like I said, long hours. Nevertheless, it was the beginning for COG. I think COG North America were off to Korea after that, directly from there, as were Fnatic, I think. So that's really when League of Legends was just going completely global. Things went crazy. COG EU, as you guys know, couldn't compete in that, but they were still there because they enjoyed League of Legends, they enjoyed the esports scene. So that was March. Moving on, we went on to May, and May was I-45. For you guys in England, you're well aware of what the I-Series is. So, the Intel Extreme Masters. Intel Extreme Masters is finished. And my camera is finished as well. Come on, camera. Stop blurring. There we go. Focus, focus slowly, focus slowly. There we have it. Oh, it doesn't like me sitting back. Here it is. This is actually a Jinx shirt that Intel Extreme Masters got for me and gave me. Insomnia 45. I keep calling you Intel Extreme Masters. Insomnia 45 gave me. Thank you very much to Will and Wizzo and everybody that's involved in the Insomnia multiplayer events. If you've not checked them out, go to multiplayer.co.uk. They are the big LAN events in the UK. Around about 2,000 or 3,000 people every time. Absolutely epic. Lots of beer is consumed. As I can attest, it was really a great event, but a tough event. A tough event in terms of stamina. But yeah, they are in the new home in Telford, and honestly, the guys at I-Series, I've been going, we're up to I-48 now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's up to I-48. I've been going to the I-Series since I-15, and there's 3 a year. So yes, I've been going for many years to the Insomnia. I think it's 10 years now, or maybe 8. I'm not sure. Some people somewhere, clever people on the internet, can check when I-15 was. That was my first one. That's where I started out. Battlefield 1942. That was my original event. And yes, I went back there to cast for them. Unfortunately, I haven't been for the last few, but I-45, it clashed with MLG Anaheim, I believe. I think it was. So, no, Anaheim clashed with Download Festival. It must have been IPL 4. IPL 4, I believe it clashed with. But I wasn't invited to IPL 4. Nick Allen, honestly, what were you thinking? But no, they learned. But that was obviously the point where I didn't go to MLG Anaheim. I didn't go to IPL 4. So I thought, okay, I really need to improve. There's some things I need to change in my casting, do something. Focus a little bit, because no matter how much you think you made it, you've always got to try a little bit harder. So even now, there's still a lot of things I want to do, and a lot of things I want to change, a lot of things I want to learn. Repeating words, of course, phrases that always get picked up. Sometimes not always bad, sometimes good. But if I check out some of my stuff from, say, Gamescom 2011, I cringe when I see some of that stuff. But nevertheless, the next event was actually June, so I had a 2 or 3 month gap there, which actually worked out well because work was busy at that time. People at City Electrical Factors will know well aware of what I'm like when they talk about April and May in accounting. It's the year end, it gets busy. Anyone in accounting knows what it's like as a year end in a major corporation or major company, but it was a busy time. But anyway, we moved on. June, Robert Oland got in contact and they wanted us at DreamHack. So, since the guys at DreamHack didn't give me a shirt, Moscow 5, who represented there, I gotta get on here. M5 BenQ, yeah, CLG, DreamHack. You guys should have gave me a shirt, man. Robert Oland, where's the love? Where's the love from DreamHack? DreamHack Summer, yeah, fantastic event. It was the one that CLG actually got to go to. EU, they got funded by their fans within a couple of hours to go there. They went through the open tournament because they didn't make it through the knockout stages. They went through the open tournament, won the open tournament, went through. They had that meteoric match, I guess is the word I could use, against Moscow 5 in the group stage. What a game. 27,000 goal difference, and they came back and won it. You do not see those games often, which is why we talk about it quite a lot. I know a lot of people are sick of us mentioning it, but honestly, that game doesn't happen often. Flash Bananas were had by Crepo. Crepo kind of launched to a little bit of fame there. He mentioned it the other day on State of the League. And it was kind of like one of the big games. Actually, the final was a bit boring, I thought. The final was a bit pants. Moscow 5 kind of just didn't turn up. I think they were just so devastated by the loss in the group stage. I don't know. I've never really seen any interviews with them afterwards, but they just weren't with it, were they? Came through the group stage. The big curse, but Fnatic as well were in there, but... it was a good finals. Wasn't too happy with the games or the setup, but DreamHack is an awesome event. 13,000 people, I think it is, that attend that. If you've never been to one, I suggest trying to get there. They happen in the winter and the summer. They are awesome events. Robert Oland, the guy that runs it, is pretty mental. Pretty mental. You'll also get to see all the other stuff. There's tons of games and weirdness on the stages that happens there. But it's a non-alcoholic event, which to us English people is a little strange, but it works. It works. Honestly, it does. You just need to go to the bars in between. But moving on from there, we went to ECC Poland, I believe it was. That was my next event, which was the European Circuit Challenge. European Challenge Circuit Poland. I think that was the exact name for it. It was a Riot Games event. So now we went on to Poland. Oh, starting to get a little tighter to put on, that's for sure. So ECC Poland, that was a great event as well. In fact, honestly, that was probably up there as my probably my third favourite event this year, ECC Poland. And the reason being that for the European Challenge Circuit, we were all put up in the same hotel. I'm struggling to get my left and right sorted out with this t-shirt. Riot Games were sponsoring that event. And yeah, ECC Poland, we were all in the same hotel. So all the players, all the staff, ESL staff, Riot staff, everyone was in the same hotel. So consequently, the same bar next door, everybody went in there and socialised. And that was the point where, you've probably heard me talking about it on stream, the fact that there was Extinct, Alex Ich and Frog and all having this high-level AP carry conversation. And I was just sat there getting my mind blown by these guys, just absorbing the information as much as they could through the alcohol. But what a fantastic event it was. The guys that were there, all the teams took their spirits, and honestly, it was really the first time that the teams had kind of started to mingle. A few of them knew each other. You know, it's a case of you're competitors, so you don't mingle that much. And up to that point, nobody had really, they kind of, you know, hello, shake your hand, good luck, you know, thanks for playing, winning, or whoever won the games. But up to that point, they were only really knew each other online. This was kind of the first event I felt that teams really started to mingle. And, you know, you have to having conversations with, say, Snoopy and Crepo and that lot lately. They also said this was the first time that, you know, obviously Moscow 5 was starting to mingle with the players. You know, there's a big language barrier between Russian players, especially in Europe. Americans probably don't really have this. They may have egos, but they don't have the language barrier that we certainly have in Europe. You've got CurseEU, they've got teams from all sorts of nationalities, or, well, not anymore because they've split up, but COGEU, their nationalities are all split. Fnatic, we're not there actually, SK were. And it was a crazy event. A bunch of Polish teams as well. Meteor Makers were in there as well. Elo, Hell, and everybody mingled together. It was a fantastic event. Really love them type of events, and that's obviously what made IPL 5 great lately. But we'll move on to that one later. But yeah, July, it was so hot in Warsaw. So warm. The fans were amazing in Warsaw as well, as they tend to be in most of these events now. You guys have just been fantastic. Every time I turn up, I'm amazed how much passion there is. You guys are following it like it would be a football game if it was in Europe. You guys are well into it, which in turn gets us into it. You know, it's what gets the casters excited. At the end of the day, us casters, we're just great big fans of the game. We love the game that we cast. We wouldn't cast it otherwise. You don't get the passion otherwise. You know, it's obvious when somebody's not quite so passionate about it that they don't feel it. But nevertheless, that was ECC Poland. I had the Riot Game shirt, and everyone that's a Riot be thinking, how the hell has he got that shirt? I actually got this from WCG 2010. That's where I got it off you guys. I know for a fact it is fairly limited these days. There's not many people with them, but I got one. Moving on, we went to New York. It was August. Things were starting to get hot and heavy and busy for me, and this is really thanks to Joe Miller. Joe Miller could not go to MLG New York, so consequently he passed them my name. You know, MLG I'd never had any contact with before then. But boy, was I appreciative, because since then I've done, what, 3 events with you guys, MLG, Major League Gaming. They've been fantastic with me. I got back to know Corey Dunn. Corey Dunn, get it done. Has been my producer, director, whatever you'd like to call him, at these events. There's a bunch of people there. Adam as well. It's fantastic to work with these guys. Adam actually generally does StarCraft while we're at the main events, but at New York he was my producer and director, the man in the ear, and of course I did it with Quickshot, and well, what a fantastic event it was. Unfortunately, I don't have a t-shirt for it. I don't have a t-shirt for MLG. I never had a t-shirt for MLG, guys, come on, you can give me a t-shirt at least once. Never ever had a Major League Gaming t-shirt, so consequently, what have I got? Okay, since Azubu Blaze completely stomped it, what have we got here? We got low elo bands, that's what we're going to go with. There we go, low elo bands, low elo guys, I met you at Season 2 finals, there you go. So you're going to be the MLG representatives here, MLG New York. And it was a great event. Azubu Blaze showed the world that why the Korean teams were good, and that was really the first big sign, the first big vision we've had of the Korean teams, where Azubu Blaze just came in and swept everyone to the side. It was a pretty dominant performance, it has to be said. In fact, you know who was also there? Curse Gaming, Curse or Die. So Curse, you can also get represented, because they were the only team that actually took a point. They were the only team that took a single point off Azubu Blaze, a single round, a single map, a single whatever the heck you want to call it. But that's what they did. There we go. So Curse or Die is now on me officially. Yeah, MLG New York was great. It was another great event. The studio in New York is fantastic. What a great setup. Fortunately, there's no room for fans in there, but nevertheless, as a production, it's brilliant. It really works very well. Nice controlled environment. So moving on, what else happened in August? Well, lots of things happened in August. Consequently, it was the Season 2 Regionals. So let's see what we got. Things are starting to get a little tight now, by the way. A little bit tight. A little bit. Yeah. Oh, Oh! Ooh. Whew. The Intel Extreme Masters are indeed awesome. The Intel Extreme Masters, wow, they have been great to me. The guys at ESL again, so they invited me along. This was the EU Regionals, of course, which you are well aware that Moscow 5 went on and won. SK Gaming got second, CLG got third, Fnatic unfortunately only got fourth place. How different that is these days, of course, but Gamescom was a great event. Anyone that's not been to a Gamescom, the crowds are pretty epic. It gets very busy, especially on a Saturday and Sunday. It's pretty tight in there. And of course, League of Legends, Riot Games, as you can see, if I can get the right way, there it is. It's this side. I know where it is. Well, technically they're both sides. League of Legends have a big stall there, and honestly, they were brilliant. They had that many staff members there that everyone kind of was kept happy. You guys bombarded the crowd. I'm getting a bit warm here, by the way. This is, I don't know how deep I am in shirts already. It's pretty deep. I'm going deep. But it was a great event. I get to meet Artosis Tasteless, Jarrett Kale. I'd met Tasteless Artosis before. Actually, I met Tasteless before, not Artosis. Jarrett Kale as well. Got him to meet him. And we all had a good time. We went out for dinner stuff. We were all in the same hotel. Red Eye was there as well. Joe Miller, of course, got his foot cut there, so I couldn't get to see him as much. Obviously, I got to meet Jason Kaplan as well. But I love you. And it was a great event in all. Obviously, Rivington and Freak were there with us. You guys had some awesome matches and enjoyed yourselves. Honestly, I signed all sorts of weird, wonderful things. We also had things like It's K. Oranges, actually thrown at Freak. Don't throw these things at Freak, guys. I know it's an orange, it's only a squishy ball, but when you're trying to cast, if you were at work, would you want me to come in and throw this at you while at work? Maybe some of you would, I don't know. But yes, it was a fantastic event. The swag was much aplenty, and you guys loved it. And then moving on, we went to MLG Raleigh after that. So, I told you already, I don't have shirts for MLG. So let's see what we got. TSM! It's a TSM shirt because MLG Raleigh had no victor. There was no one that won there. TSM didn't go. And of course we had the ARAM final. What were you thinking, Dignitas and Curse? Honestly, don't get me wrong, it was great fun to cast. But seriously, you guys really dropped the ball on that one. And consequently you all had to pay the fines, not get your money. Nobody won it on... Despite the fact Curse NA played brilliantly, it was really good showing in the 4 games that actually were proper, but yeah, don't do that again. That's a message to all of the teams out there that do think about messing around in any other tournament. It was a great atmosphere regardless. Before that, I enjoyed the southern hospitality of North Carolina. Ben, aka Mr. Bitter, that on the StarCraft commentators, was happy to have us down there in his home county, I think he was. I think he's from North Carolina, it might be South. It's one of the Carolinas he's from, but he was happy to have us trying some southern food. Again, it was another great point of all the teams and all the casters and the fans were kind of all in the same hotels in Raleigh. And it was a really nice atmosphere, despite that final. So moving on. This is actually the time that I went home. And honestly, this is kind of my point where a decision had to be made with myself. I had no more holiday really left at work. I used all my holiday within what are we up to? We're up to August, so 6 months. And actually my holiday reset in May, so I'd actually used all my holiday from May to August, which was my year's allocation of 20, I think I was up to 26 days at that point. Consequently, this is where around about the point where I made my Twitter that everybody noticed of a decision needed to be made, either esports or work. You're all aware of the decision that now I made, but which was esports. But at the time it was a difficult one because I was in a pretty well decent paid job for what I was doing. I was a web developer, and I'd worked there for, well, by the time I left, 10 years, 11 months. So I'd been at the company for a long, long time. consequently, it was a little bit hard to leave. My brother worked there, my mother worked there, my cousin worked there. I was pretty much best friends with the guy I was sat next to because I'd sat next to him for 8 years or so. And it was a tough call making the decision to make the leap. And it is a big leap. Esports is a pretty new growing industry, so to switch across to it was definitely a difficult decision. But by the time I landed back from Raleigh, I was kind of annoyed at. Anyone that saw me in the bar that night maybe will have realised that. But I had a good chat with Jaws and Jat and Marku, who was there as well. And by the time I landed back from Raleigh via New York, I actually had an email from Magus, who is Waylon Rosal. You guys probably don't know his name, or you may recognise Magus, but he kind of runs things in Season 3 for Riot, alongside obviously Dustin Beck and Jason Katz and a few others. But he was kind of my main point of contact, and at that point he'd actually asked me to do the Season 2 finals, which was honestly an awesome invite, because obviously the North American regionals were happening the week after Raleigh, and I was like, hey guys, I'm here, you only need to kind of take me across to Seattle. I have to have a drink, it's no use. My voice is cutting out on me, it happens. That's why we have co-casters. But yes, I was a little annoyed at not getting the North American regionals. I've done the EU regionals. I've done a hell of a lot of Season 3 stops. But so it was great to actually land and see this email in there straight away saying, "Do you think you can come and do it?" And it was good and it was bad. It was the point where I simply didn't have the holiday to do it. So I actually took, I think it was 4 or 5 unpaid days at work, which I'm grateful to my brother that he actually allowed me to do it, and his boss. They actually allowed me to do it. They realised how big of a deal it was for me to go do these Season 2 World Finals that I'd been building up to for a year. So they allowed me to do it. They allowed me to go, and consequently I went to Los Angeles. So, moving on to Los Angeles. Well, what do you expect? I survived CRG versus WE. Wow, what a game that was. What a day that was. Of internet outages and all sorts of problems. I'm getting a little bit Stay Puft like now. But yes, I never got a Season 2 World Finals t-shirt, guys. Just saying. There's lovely red ones that everybody that attended got. Yeah, I didn't get one. They were all on your chairs, but no. I didn't get one. Just saying. But no, we do have this one though. This was actually a shirt that we made up at the time that we wanted to kind of display after the actual semi-final, after the quarterfinals. So I'd finished COG WE. Obviously ended up as COG winning it, but honestly, after all that had gone on, probably wouldn't have been that tactful at the time to show it, because both teams had pretty much endured 8 hours on the Saturday, I think it was, at LA Live, where me and Jat had to fill for a long time and talk a lot. But you guys seem to enjoy it. It seemed, I wouldn't say enjoy it. You probably didn't enjoy the internet outages, nor did we. But nevertheless, you've got to knuckle down and do things then. But what I did actually get from the World Championships is I have this, which was the official bracelet, the Season 2 World Championships bracelet. I don't know whether you can make it out on camera, probably not. But that was your pass. That was effectively your pass. If you had one of those on, you could go anywhere. The players had them. I also had the League of Legends yellow thing as well. But yes, Season 2 World Finals, what an epic event. I mean, the orchestra itself, good God, it gives me goosebumps. I still watch it now. I still watch it and listen back, and I've got the memories, obviously, in my head of how it sounded live. Live was just incredible. Christian Link and all the guys, I think it was the Hollywood Orchestra that had come together to make that, was brilliant. It gave me goosebumps, or boosgumps as I think I called it on the stream at the time. But really a fantastic event. I'm getting a call from my dad, but I'll ignore that one. I'll call him back. What an amazing event. I mean, Taipei Assassins, it was kind of like a dream story that they came through and won it. Azubu Frost were fantastic as well. But the Taipei Assassins were really like our true story. It's the kind of thing you wanted. They were the team that everybody kind of liked. Everybody grew to them. Everybody enjoyed them. You know, all the teams out there, they were all rooting for them as well. They're kind of like one of those up-and-coming teams that just broke through. We knew they were good, but nobody really knew how good they were. But they were damn good, and they kind of took the world by storm. So that was the Season 2 World Finals. An epic event. I get to go around the Riot Studios. I got to meet everyone there. And actually, that was the point, barring Saturday's mistakes, where I was going to join Riot Games. This was being discussed on all the threads of Riot Please. Had already gone out, but we kind of already been discussing it. But these things take a little while to come around, and consequently, because of Saturday, things got put to the side and delayed. So it wasn't only the games that got delayed, it was my employment that got delayed. But nevertheless, things moved on. It was a great event, absolutely magnificent. And I came home after really loving it. I definitely put that up there as my top event this year. Without a doubt, the fact that there was 8,000 fans cheering in that arena, 8.2 million was it online, a great big Hollywood orchestra, and I had to follow it. When we were going through the runtime, it was like, yeah, that's going to be playing, and right, and now you need to come in. Oh, what? Wait, what? We need to follow this awesome orchestra, and then we've got to speak and talk guff, really, because we were filling. That's all we were doing. We were filling. It was like, okay, so talk about the orchestra. It was like, what, for 5 minutes? We had to wait for the orchestra to clear up stage so we could introduce the team. So we just had to fill. But Phil, we did. I think they'd realised we could do that for 8 hours the day before or a week before, so we had to do that, and really it was just amazing. I absolutely love it. I still watch it back now, and like I say, it gives me goosebumps. So, moving on, MLG Dallas. You know what? MLG Dallas. It was a good event, don't get me wrong, it was a great event, but I got no t-shirts again! Come on! Sundance, Corey, sort it out, man. Sort it out. I need some love here. I get no t-shirts from MLG. Apparently they do give them out, but I never got to see anyway. So MLG Dallas, that was a great event as well. Beautiful hotel. Had MLG written across the front of the hotel. It was like they had like lights and LED display. You guys may have seen it, but MLG was written across the front of it. The bar was great. There was actually some sort of celebrity golf type thing there as well. So there was a couple of celebrities in the bars as well. I think. What was his name? It was... Who's the guy? As I say celebrities, I'm talking B and Z list celebrities here. I'm not talking A-class. Carlton, that's it, from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was in there. And there was a few others in there. But yeah, it was a fun event. We were all in the same hotel again. The games were actually pretty good, and the finals were really awesome, despite the fact... I think the viewers may have gone down for the final because it was an all-Korean final, but honestly, they were probably one of the best finals for a long time. Azubu Blaze versus Najin Sword. Najin Sword, hot favourites. Everyone thought Matt Noon was going to take it with his team. Kane and Prey, absolutely awesome combo down that bottom line, but little did they realise that Shy was there. Shy from Azubu Frost was playing for Azubu Blaze, and he shined. Yes, the puns. But they were fantastic. Captain Jack Sparrow, of course, as well. Brilliant play for across the board, and MLG Dallas was a great event. So we're into November at this point, and then what happened in November? Well, it was a busy time for me in November. Following Dallas, I went to Paris. Oh, this one's tight. This one is tight. Yes. Tales of the Lane. Tales of the Lane was in Paris, and what an amazing event it was. Fantastic, honestly. I definitely rated up there as one of my top events this year. The crowd really were the things that did it. You guys were magnificent. I think it was 1,500 people packed into this old theatre. And you guys, for 13 hours straight, just didn't stop cheering. Absolutely magnificent. I didn't understand a word you were saying because you were all French, which is not a bad thing, but I could understand the passion. It was only a 4-team tournament, Moscow 5, Curse EU, who else was there? Eclipsia and How have I forgot someone in a 4-team tournament? I'm going to have to check it. I'm going to have to check it. It's going to be on here somewhere. It was, of course, Cursey U, Eclipsia, SK. How could I forget SK? SK Gaming. Well, they did get walloped. They did get walloped, as I reminded Aaron A and Ocelot both times when they've been on the troll desk with me. But Tales of the Lane, yeah, fantastic. Chips and Noir, absolutely magnificent hosts. You guys were awesome. Thank you very much for inviting me along. Myself and Jap, we really appreciated it. We're glad that Kings of Europe went so well for you guys, and the Tales of the Lane followed on even better than ever as a live event. It was the first time I remember being an event being community driven, a community sponsored event. 120,000 was raised. They needed 80,000+ to make sure it actually went ahead, and obviously they used the rest to boost the whole scale of it. They had a 12-track CD for sale there that they managed to get they'd paid someone to produce. Absolutely epic music. If you guys have not listened to the Tales Lane music, it was epic. Enoch Corona, I think it was, that did it all. Chips and Noir were so nice as hosts as well. They took us out to a nice dinner, showed us around the city, and the rest of the eSports guys from Riot, we came along, and we had a day there, a day extra, which you don't normally get at events. We don't normally get this extra day, but we got to enjoy it for a day extra, and it was brilliant. We got to go around all of France, that'd be a long time, all of Paris. We got to see all the sites, obviously down at Parafique, and not round the Parafique. We did get to see it actually. We saw where Diana died. I did anyway. Which for an English person, you know, she was our princess. She died there. But we got to see the Eiffel Tower, the Champs-Élysées, all the Arc de Triomphe, all the usual stuff that you'd go to see, the Louvre, etc. And we did all the city photos there. But it was brilliant, brilliant event. Absolutely loved it. So moving on from France. Well, where did we go? Of course, it was clashing, and I actually had a decision to make here. It was DreamHack Winter in Sweden, in cold Jönköping, or Singapore. Well, sorry, Robert. You didn't give me a t-shirt the first time around. So I went to the Intel Extreme Masters guys in Singapore. Now, the t-shirts are getting a little bit tight here. Not gonna lie. Oh! There we go. Whew. Getting pretty padded now. Getting pretty padded. But this was Intel Extreme Masters Singapore, and it was really the announcement, the beginning of the troll desk. Ocelot came along, myself, Ocelot, and Daniel Klein on the analysis desk, and we had some great time. The teams weren't fantastic because a few of them pulled out late. But honestly, it was a great event, and really the beginning of what I feel is probably going to become the standard casting format for League of Legends. We had the 2 casters and the 3 analyst desk. We have a pro player on there, a guy, a host that can run it, which we informed was me, and Daniel Klein also joined us as a color caster type guy from Riot, and it was fantastic. It was great to have. It seemed to work well. It flowed between the matches really well, and I hope you guys at home enjoyed it. Meet Your Makers went on to win that. We saw some fantastic performances from Ititeki Masu, and I can't think of the other team, Absolute Legends. NA also did well. I'm trying to think of the other Singaporean team that did brilliant. But Singapore was really nice, really clean city. Probably the cleanest place I've ever been to. No rubbish anywhere from you. Yeah, and it's just nothing was dropped, nothing was visible in terms of rubbish. We went into the main city as well. That was really nice. We got to see the Garena Arena, or the Garena Stadium, I think they're calling it. But yeah, we got to go there, and of course that's where Timo came from, with his Riot headbands on. He didn't used to have the Riot headbands. These are brilliant Christmas presents from the guys at Riot. But yeah, this is where this guy came from, and it was fantastic. And the Garena Arena is really great. If you're in Singapore, I recommend going to check it out. They have all sorts of games streamed there, massive LAN cafe, great big screens as well. And yeah, the guys at Garena are doing a fantastic job, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with in the next season, because obviously that's where the Taipei Assassins come from. Obviously over in Taipei, but they're playing the same league. Singapore Sentinels are based in Singapore, of course, as you'd expect with their name, and a bunch of other great teams that we're starting to see shining through. I think Black Bean also came over from that area. Iceland as well, I think they're from Hong Kong, are they? So there's a couple of teams that we're starting to see in the big tournaments that are starting to come through from that region. So it's really great to see Really nice people there. Everybody was absolutely loved eSports. They were mad about it. They loved it. The Green Carnival was going on at the time we were there as well. So it was a fantastic visit. So, moving on from Singapore, we took a really long flight. And this is the first time I've actually circumnavigated the globe. We went across the Pacific, across the date line, back in time. Me and Joe Miller are time travellers this year. And we went across to IPL 5 in Las Vegas. Which, by the way, didn't give me a shirt. So, there was one team that was kind enough to give me a real shirt, and it was Moscow 5. So you guys, M5 BenQ, can't really show you the back, but it's got a big Moscow 5 on the back. You guys were kind enough. Constantine, Alex Each and his team were kind enough. You can't believe how padded I am right now. Were kind enough to give me this shirt. So you may have seen it at the back of Joe Miller's wall as well. Myself and Joe Miller both had a real Moscow 5 shirt. So thank you very much to you guys. IPL 5 didn't give me a shirt, but what an amazing experience they gave me. The Cosmopolitan is a fantastic hotel. The event was brilliant. Definitely my #2 event of the year. Only topped by the fact that Season 2 was the World Finals, and you can't top an 8,000 arena with a orchestra bringing you in. I'm sorry, but as in terms of tournament play, IPL 5 probably was better than the World Finals, maybe, because up to the point the last 10 games was probably they could have all been finals. Any tournament we had in that year could have been tournament finals. We had Taipei Assassins, WE. Fnatic were on form, Moscow 5, CLG EU, CLG NA also did very well at that event. So many teams. Moscow 5, of course, were epic there as well, and there was just so much strength and depth. The Zubu Blazers were really kicking ass as well at some point, and then the fact that they went out 8th, I think it was, just showed how strong this tournament was. Brilliant tournament, brilliant games, so much to watch. In fact, you guys at home probably watched more than we did, because there was 2 streams going at once, sometimes 3, and we could only watch really one. You know, we're either in here or the second stage. A lot of people couldn't see because it was a room second stream. It wasn't so much a stage; nobody got to see it unless they were physically watching the players. So you got to see the results. But consequently, wow! I mean, amazing stuff. Season 1 champions meeting the Season 2 champions, stuff like that. The matches dreams are made of, as it were, for commentators and viewers. In terms of the actual event itself, brilliant location, everybody in the same location. Again, this is something I absolutely love at events. It's what made Call of Duty 4 so great when we did events there, because everybody was in the same hotel, all the players, all the commentators, all the admins, the workers, everybody working on the event, everybody there to enjoy the event. So not only are they getting to see the best games in the world, but they're also being able to celebrate afterwards and celebrate everyone enjoy the fact that it's been such a magnificent tournament. And it was. Cosmopolitan was brilliant. The room we got put in, we actually upgraded. We were on the 59th floor of this hotel. Massive, great big place, but absolutely brilliant. Just a shame that some of the players are not 21, so they couldn't enjoy it quite the same as us older generation, as it were. But really, absolutely magnificent stuff. So finally, our last event, of course, was the Intel Extreme Masters. It was Cologne, ESL once again. And you know, it's a good job because I'm not sure I could quite get any more shirts on. But ESL, they're the guys that have helped me out this year. They've done so much for me, so I'm so very grateful to you guys at ESL. Well, everyone that's helped me out there, everyone that's took me to their events, it's been brilliant. And you guys really were the ones that first believed in me, I guess it was. You could say that as in terms of a caster. You put your faith in me. You put me in Gamescom 2011. I did the DreamHack Season 1 qualifiers at the studio in Cologne as well. And you guys have, I guess we've kind of all grown together, I guess. ESL's definitely grown as a company in the last sort of year, 2 years. They've had some magnificent success with League of Legends, of course, and StarCraft. They've had the World Finals for StarCraft and League of Legends. They obviously helped out and got the regionals. And it's great credit that Season 3 is going to be there. So, you know, for the European regions, the fact that awesome setup they've got now, that you saw at Intel Extreme Masters Cologne, the analyst desk, the casting station, the 2-stage setup. Everybody enjoyed themselves. Drinks were free. There was free beer, guys. There was free beer at this event. Good God, you try and do that in the UK, it would be a mess. But it was brilliant, and I'm ever so grateful to, like I say, to everybody involved in ESL, really, that made these events so very good. You know, the admins, the directors level, Joe Miller and Jason, of course, as well, alongside that helped set up these awesome events. You know, Sven, the director, you can see photos on the Intel Extreme Masters website of him building the stage. So the director's getting his hands dirty building that stage, and everybody else that's involved. The 13 different streamed languages as well, because something you guys in America that don't have a difference with, you guys all speak the same language, well, English or maybe Spanish. But here in Europe, we've got a lot of languages, a lot of different cultures to get over, different boundaries to break down to in terms of play. And as it is, luckily, everybody follows English. So that kind of worked out for me. God knows how people like Daniel Klein managed to cast in English when they're German speakers. But yes, what an absolute fantastic event. Intel Extreme Masters was a great success. Congratulations to SK Telecom. Great to see those guys joining the tournament scene, the League of Legends scene, because that's another great big Korean name right there. So as far as I'm aware, all of the big Korean teams now are involved in League of Legends, which means the future is just going to get bigger. So we just have one more thing. Which is not so easy to put on after all these t-shirts. But this is the final thing, the final piece. And of course, you've all seen the photo. I joined Riot Games. In December it was announced Riot D-Man is a thing now. I think I can zip this up just about. I'm pretty warm. There we go. The hood on. And that's it. Look like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Riot Games have employed me officially now. I started on the 10th of December. So I am now officially a Rioter. Riot D-Man, if you see me online, that is going to be my tag and my tag alone. Nobody else can have that Riot tag. Which is great. Kha'Zix is my summoner icon. Kha'Zix. Because I absolutely love Kha'Zix. I only just really got into him lately, but so has his fault, and so has Reaper. They've both been playing him so much on streams that I'd seen them playing. And when he got selected at IPL 5, I was so happy, and Intel Extreme Masters Cologne really kind of took dominance, I guess you could say, along with a few other characters. Olaf mainly for SK Telecom, but yes, there it is. Riot D-Man is now a thing. People that I used to work with, thank you very much, and good to know you, good to meet you. Please stay in touch over Facebook and such. That I've kept in contact with you guys for a long time. I've worked there for over 10 years, so anyone that's actually still watching from my work, then thanks. Family and friends, thanks for sticking with me, because it's been a busy old year for me. In and out, travelling all around the world. Taxi Dad has been taking me to the airport, to Birmingham Airport, every time. So very grateful to my dad and my parents, my mother as well, for looking after me and talking through me. My brother, of course, for allowing me to go to all these events and eventually allowing me to leave work. Didn't want it to happen, obviously, but it was inevitable that it was going to happen, and everybody else that I worked with. Yeah, it's been a fantastic year for me. Something I never thought really would happen. My hobby has become my job, basically. So time to find a new hobby, I guess. But yeah, my hobby has become my job, and it's great to be now a writer. Riot D-Man is official. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and maybe, just maybe, Season 3 will be bigger than ever, and we'll have maybe another blog for 2013, or vlog, whatever you'd like to call these things. But until then, guys, I wish you all the best. Please feel free to come say hello. If you see me at events, I don't bite. I will say hello. It depends if I've got my headset on. If I've got a headset on, don't bother talking to me, because I'm probably listening to someone, or I'm about ready to go live. So if I've got the headset on, don't bother. But other than that, feel free to come say hello. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope you all a very Merry Christmas.